Good morning students and welcome to our YouTube channel Gnan Manjari Modern School. So in the previous videos we are just going through the chapter number 3, that is separation of substance. In that, first of all, we have seen the threshing process, in which what we have seen how the stalks are just grains are removed from the stalks. Then after we have seen second method, that was winnowing. So what was winnowing? So when the grains are separated from the stalk, some of these small impurities are there between them, so that is removed by the winnowing method. Okay, so first of all, here what is the threshing process? The process of beating the harvested crop to separate the grain from the stalk is called threshing process. Then after second, that was winnowing. So what was winnowing? The method used to separate chaff from the grain by the action of wind is called winnowing. Okay. Then after hand picking we have seen. So what is hand picking? So in hand picking, what if it is there in a small quantity? So what will there in the grains, some of the stones and the other impurities are there, then that is removed by the hand, but the quantity should be less. Okay. Then after it was sieving method. So it is to separate the small particles and the large particles. So what happened? The small particles will just move down, as we have seen in the construction sites. The small sand pebbles just come down and the big pebbles just flow away with that. Okay. Then after, the method by which two substances are separated by passing the mixture through the sieving is called sieving. Okay. Then after we have seen the sedimentation and the decantation. So in that I have just given you example in water, when we just add a teaspoon of sand in that and we just mix it well and we have to separate that. So what we will do, we will just put that solution for 1 to 2 hours without disturbing. Then after that process is known as the sedimentation, and that sediment when just there at the bottom, then what will happen? The upper liquid is removed, that is known as the decantation process. So in that, it is the process of separating insoluble solids which are heavier than the liquid by allowing them to settle down in sediments. Sedimentation, the solid particles that settle down during sedimentations are called sediments. The process of pouring out the clear upper liquid without disturbing the sediments is called decantation. So this both process we have seen. Then after it was filtration. So what is filtration? That we have seen in our home, the mother just filter the tea. Okay, and the filtering device which is there, in that the tea leaves will remain and the tea will just liquid which is there, it will just go to the cup. Okay, so here the process by which a mixture of an insoluble solid and a liquid are separated by passing the mixture through a filtering device is called filtration. Okay. Then after, filtration is used in our homes to filter out the tea leaves from prepared tea with the help of a strainer. Okay, that is the filtration. Now talking about the evaporation. What is evaporation and what is condensation? That also we have seen. Okay, so first of all, evaporation. So what is evaporation? Then we can say when water is converted into water vapor, that is known as evaporation. When water is converted into water vapor, that is known as the evaporation process. Then after, condensation process, what is it? Condensation. So what in condensation takes? So water vapor when converted into water, that is known as condensation process. Okay, so evaporation and condensation both are opposite process. You can see here, in that water is converted into water vapor, and in condensation process water vapor is converted into water. Okay, so let us see here. in the first evaporation, that is the process by which the liquid form of a solid changes into its gas form is called evaporation. Okay. Then after condensation, that is the process by which the gas form of a solid changes into its liquid form is called condensation. Okay. Then after here I have just tell the answers of the let's answer, I think. Okay. So now here moving towards the solution and solubility. Okay. So solution and solubility. Solution and solubility. Okay, so first of all, what is solution? Okay, so if I just say that I just mix a sugar in water, then that is known as a sugar solution. So in that, what we have added, the solvent is what? First of all, talking about the solvent, okay, and solvent and the other thing, that is solvent and the solute. So what is first of all solute and what is the solvent? So solvent, sorry, here if I just take sugar plus water gives us sugar solution. Okay. Okay, that is sugar solution. So here, which is solvent and which is solute? So here I can say that this is solvent and this is solute. Okay, this is solute and this is solvent. So what is solvent? So sorry, first of all, what is solute? The thing which is to be dissolved in solvent, that is known as solute, and the thing which is to be dissolved in, that is known as the solvent, and the mixture of solute and solvent makes the solution. Okay students, so let us see. When we add a teaspoon of sugar to a glass of water and stir it, the sugar disappear in water. This is because sugar get dissolved or mixed or completely in the water. The substance that get dissolved is called solute. So here we will write definitions. So here first of all, talking about solute, the substance that get dissolve is called solute. Okay, so next one, that is solvent. The substance in which something gets dissolved is called the solvent. Okay, and the last, that is solution. In the solution there are two definitions. The first one, that is the mixture of a solute and a solvent is called a solution. Okay, and the other one, that is a mixture of one or more solutes dissolved in a solvent is called a solution. Okay, is called a solution. Here, first of all, solute. So what is solute? The substance that get dissolved is called solute. Means in the sugar and water, the sugar just dissolved in water, so that is known as the solute. Then after, solvent, that is the substance in which something gets dissolved is called the solvent. Okay, means in sugar and in water, so the sugar is dissolved in water, so the water is known as the solvent. Then after, here makes that solution, the mixture of a solute and a solvent is called a solution. And the other definition of that is a mixture of one or more solutes dissolved in a solvent is called a solution. Okay, so two definitions are there and both are correct. You can write any of it. Okay, students. Now moving forward, that is here a solution can be represented as solute plus solvent is equal to solution. For example, salt plus water gives salt. Solution. Substance may be soluble or insoluble in a liquid. Soluble substances are those that get dissolved in a liquid. For example, salt and sugar are soluble in water. Insoluble substances are those that do not get dissolved in a liquid. For example, sand and chalk are insoluble in water. So here, now talking about the insoluble substance and soluble substance. So the substance which get dissolved in the solvent, that is known as the soluble substance, and the substance which do not get dissolved in solvent, that is known as insoluble substance. Okay students, if you want to write this, I am just giving you some time, write down. Now moving forward, here there is an activity, that is to find out the solubility of the given sample in water. So materials needed, that is sample of salt, sugar, wheat flour, sand, chalk powder and baking soda, 6 beakers, a glass rod and water. Okay, so here you have to take 6 beakers and label it A, B, C, D, E and F. Add water to the beakers, add one sample of each sample in a beaker, stir each mixture and wait till 5 minutes. Observe each mixture and identify soluble and insoluble substance. Record your observation. So here it is given, that is salt, sugar, water, salt, sugar, wheat flour, sand, chalk powder and baking soda. So this are given. So from that we have to just find out that which are soluble in water and which are insoluble in water. Okay students, so we all know that sugar and salt are soluble in water, chalk is insoluble in water, wheat flour is soluble in water or insoluble in water students, and then after other one, that was baking soda. So baking soda is also soluble in water. Okay students, so here moving forward to the saturated solution. Saturated solution. So what is saturated solution? First of all student, it is given over here. A solution in which no more solute can be dissolved is called a saturated solution. Okay, that is known as the saturated solution. Here saturated solution is which? So how can we make a saturated solution of sugar? So what if I just add, if I just have to make the saturated solution of sugar? So sugar plus water gives us a sugar solution. Okay, so here we have to just add 1 by 1 teaspoon of sugar in it and we have to stir. So we have to stir up to when these sugars, small crystals are there that are soluble in water. Then after at a time, what will happen? The sugar will not soluble in water. Why? Because lots of sugar is soluble in water. So now what we have to do? We will just heat that water. So what will happen? The remaining solution will be remaining solute will be soluble in water, and continuously you have to add sugar in it. So what will happen? At one time the sugar will stop dissolving in the water. So that is the saturated solution of sugar. Okay, so here for that Can water dissolve any amount of salt or sugar? If we go on adding salt in water, after some time we can notice undissolved salt at the bottom of the container. Even if we stir the water, we will not be able to dissolve this solvent salt. So, a solution in which no more solute can be dissolved is called a saturated solution. So, here coming to this solubility. What is solubility? So here solubility is the ability of a substance to get dissolved in a solvent. Okay, so that is the solubility, and all these have different ability to dissolve in water. Sugar have some specific ability, after some time it will not be dissolved. Then after salt also have different ability to dissolve in water, means this amount of the salt will dissolve easily in water. So all have different solubility. So here how this solubility is defined. Solubility is the ability of a substance to get dissolved in a solvent. Okay, so here it is given different amounts of substance or solute are required to prepare the saturated solution in water. For example, the amount of the sugar required to prepare in saturated solution is a specific amount of water will be differ from the amount of the salt required to prepare a saturated solution of salt. Let us learn more about the factors that speed up the dissolve of a solute. So here first of all they have given heating. So by heating we can just dissolve more solute inside the solvent. So first one, that is heating. So what is heating over here? That is, in order to dissolve this amount of the salt left at the bottom of the container in saturated solution, we will need to heat the solution. We will observe that it is easier and faster to dissolve salt in hot water as compared to the cold water. So here in heating it is written that in order to dissolve the amount of salt left at the bottom of a container in the saturated solution we will need to heat the solution. Okay, we have to heat the solution. Next is stirring. So take 2 beakers half filled with water and add a teaspoon of sugar in each. Stir the water in one of the beaker with a glass rod. You will notice that the solute dissolves faster by stirring the solution. So here in this, what happens, stirring. So what we will do, we have seen our mother when they just make the limbu pan. So what happened, they just add first of all sugar and stir it well with the spoon. So why they just do that? So what will happen, the sugar will dissolve faster by stirring. Then after it is powdered form of a solution. So that is, take 2 half filled with water. In a first beaker, add powdered sugar. In the second, add a crystal of sugar. Stir both the beaker. You will notice that the solute dissolves faster when it is poured powdered form. Okay. So here, how the solubility can be defined. So heating, stirring, and another was powdered form of the solute. So in heating, what we'll do, when the sugar is left, then after we just heat the solution, then what will happen, it will dissolve. Okay, then after in stirring, you just take 2 beakers in both half filled and add same amount of the sugar. One beaker you have to stir, then you can observe that the beaker which you are stirring, it will become the sugar will dissolve faster than the other beaker. Then after powdered form, so what you have to do over here, you have to again take the 2 beaker with half filled water, and then after you have to, in one beaker you have to add powdered form of sugar and in other crystal form of sugar. Then you can notice you have to stir. In that you can notice that here the powdered form of sugar is dissolved faster than the crystal form of sugar. So these are some of the factors depending upon the solubility. Okay students, so here in your homework what you just do is, so in your homework you have to write down the definitions of solute, solvent, solution, saturated solution, solubility, okay, and find out exercise answer. Okay, so this is your homework. You have to write down the definitions of solute, solvent, solution, saturated solution, solubility, and also find out exercise answers. Okay, and we will meet in the next video. Okay, bye students.